So Manchester United are definitely interested in signing Antoine Semenyo. Calls have already been made. United are exploring the deal. Now I've got a few questions I want to ask about any Semenyo deal, what it means, and the strategy behind it. Because I'm definitely interested to hear what you've got to say about potentially signing Semenyo. Now let's go. Now make sure you do subscribe if you are new for daily United videos just like this one. Hey look, if you ask me for what would I like for Christmas as a United fan, I'm going to ask for a midfielder, probably two. I'll be totally honest. Semenyo, not top of my priority list, but I'm going to run through the news from Fabrizio Romano, and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to pose 4 questions for you in this video, right? Going to look at this potential signing from as many different angles as possible. Would you want to sign Semenyo? Let me know in the comments, all right? But let's get into it. Because Semenyo, truth be told, the only reason we're having this conversation is because a release clause exists. If there wasn't one, United wouldn't have called. United wouldn't have been in contact with Bournemouth. But there is, and we have. Now, this is what Fabrizio Romano is saying with that, all right?
So, Tottenham are really interested in Semenyo, but this...
Spurs? Anyway.
depends on what the player wants to do. But Tottenham have genuine interest in Semenyo.
Not Spurs.
This week, again, Manchester United and Manchester City called to understand the situation of Semenyo. Between Monday and Tuesday, some calls took place from Man United and from Manchester City to understand the situation of Semenyo. £65 million.
Right, so that's the story. From Fabrizio Romano that United got in contact, and so did City, both with Bournemouth, to find out. I would imagine the call would be like a 65 million release clause. How many installments? What would be due straight away? You know, we did the same thing with Cunha. We called them up and we tried to get the terms changed. I'm pretty sure Cunha's was 60 mil, and we had to pay it in 3 installments, and we tried to change those terms. They said, hell no, and we paid it anyway. Questions I want to ask about Semenyo. Number 1, would I like to sign Antoine Semenyo? That's going to be an unequivocal yes from, I would say, every single Manchester United fan. Now, trust me, let me run through these questions in order, and I'll get to the point. Why wouldn't you want to sign Antoine Semenyo? The quality of the player he is, the experience he's got, it very much falls into the same category as Mbeumo, as Cunha, as United's strategy. We saw it starting properly last summer. We're going to see it every window, so coming for the next few years, whilst Ineos are there and whilst Ineos are in charge. I actually think it's a smart play. Focus on the Premier League proven players. So yes, I would like Semenyo. Caveat. Is Semenyo the priority? And again, if there was like an unequivocal answer to the first question of would you like to sign Semenyo? It's the exact same sort of response. Well, the exact opposite response here. But just as sort of much of a landslide. No, Semenyo's not the priority. You know, I know. Every United fan knows it. We need 1, I'd argue 2 midfielders. We need a midfield overhaul on the same level as we had the attacking overhaul in the summer. If you had asked me what I wanted, I've said this so many times, but it's just I keep repeating it because it's true. The priority for me after Mbeumo and Cunha was a midfielder. That was before Šeško, let alone add into the fact that we're now having a conversation about maybe signing Semenyo. And then we go and sign Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško and Semenyo all before we sign a midfielder. Well, that's mad. However, this is where the caveats come into it. Do I think any of these are going to be available in January? Anderson? No chance. Wharton? Extremely unlikely. Baleba? Of all the 3? Potentially. Cost-wise, I've got no idea. But maybe that's why United are considering it, because the midfielder that we want to sign, we can't sign in January. More questions. We know full well that Ruben Amorim would love to have Antoine Semenyo. He's already gone on record saying that we need another right-footed wing-back, effectively. In the same way that Ahmad does it on the right-hand side, he'd love someone to do that on the left-hand side. If United were to sign Semenyo, that's exactly where he'd play in this Amorim system. Now, of course, there might be, hypothetically, of course, we sign him. He could play as one on the left inside forward in certain games, certain occasions. But you're pretty much looking at signing Semenyo as a wing-back currently. Now, in Amorim's system, the wing-backs, when it's free-flowing and You look at the heat map of Ahmad at United as right wing back, and Semenyo's left number 10 for Bournemouth. Very similar heat maps up and down the pitch. But he's not the priority. So I think the most important question is this, and unfortunately, it's the one that we can't have an answer to. Would signing Semenyo in January affect United's budget for the summer for midfielders? Because on paper, I think it would. United would have 65 million to spend. I know you wouldn't spend 65 million, you spread it over the instalments. So don't get like panicky in that sense. But I didn't think United would have the budget last summer to go out and sign these three. So what do I know about the budgets? Absolutely nothing. If there was a world where United could sign Semenyo in January and it wouldn't impact our ability to go after the likes of Anderson or Wharton in the summer, it would make me a little bit more inclined to say he would be a good signing. But, and again, this is where the caveats come into it. While these three might not be available, is there another midfielder that we would go after? Or is it just a case of, no, we're only shopping at the top table. We're only going to go after those. It kind of might leave you empty-handed towards the end. And again, you go back to another question, and maybe this is a question that United are asking themselves. Lads, is there a chance that signing Semenyo could get United into the Champions League next season? I think the answer to that is yes. There is a chance that he could be a difference maker. Like, you can be as pessimistic as you want as a United fan, and I understand the natural position. Our Champions League spot is up for grabs. Can we be confident that United are going to get the result? No, absolutely not. But because of the way the Premier League has gone this season, Champions League football is a distinct possibility at Old Trafford next season if we nail the second half of the season. So the idea of Semenyo in January, like, we've already scored as many. Only City have scored more goals than us. It's nowhere near the right priority. And I'll go back to it again. I'll repeat and repeat. This goes into that market opportunity category, which might be a bit of a mad thing to say about a 65 million player, but the old 50 mil is the new 100 mil. It's just the way that prices have gone. So in that sense, the old 30 to 35 mil is the new 65 mil. Would I think Semenyo's worth that? Yeah, absolutely would. Wouldn't be my priority. You know exactly where I would want United to go in January. We need a midfielder. Could we do both? Conceivably, but it would be probably the biggest January transfer we've ever had as a club. We spoke about it this morning on the live show. Probably when we signed Bruno was the biggest one that we've had post-Fergie. So any idea of signing Semenyo, let alone a midfielder, hey, there's lots more questions I could ask about this, but that's the news, and that's my immediate sort of reaction and the first things I'm thinking about. Would you want to sign Semenyo? Let me know in the comments.